Welcome to another edition of Colon Cancer Corner. My name is Will. I'm a health educator here at the Health District, and today I'm going to show you something special, how to make Jamaican style curry chicken. Now, just a brief history before we get started. Jamaican curry actually came about because of the end of slavery in the Caribbean. You see, the British Empire, they were in charge, but they still needed work to be done. So they brought people in from across their empire, some indentured servants, to actually do the work, to include from places like East India. And when the East Indians got here, they also brought their cuisine, it blended with the West African cuisine we already had, and voila, Jamaican curry. So enough about that. I know you want to get down to the meat and the interesting part of this demo. So what we're going to use here, what we're going to do is a healthier version of Jamaican curry chicken. So keeping that in mind, we're actually going to be using chicken breast. It's already been cut, as you can see. And we're going to put this aside for now, because the first thing that we want to do is to build our marinade. So first thing we're going to start off with is going to be some distilled white vinegar. Now this serves a couple of purposes. Distilled white vinegar is a tenderizer. In addition to adding a very sharp flavor to foods, without adding any fat or salt, which is what we want to do. Then we're going to use scallion. It's going to be chopped, and this is what scallion looks like. They call it green onion as well. Then we're going to actually add some white onions, also chopped. Some garlic, which is minced, so it's going to be a little bit smaller and a little bit finer cut. All right. A little bit of black pepper. Right. And then we're going to use some serrano peppers, which looks a little bit like this. Now, authentic Jamaican curry actually uses Scotch bonnet pepper. It's a very hot pepper with a sweet taste to it. But unfortunately, it's very hard to get here. So we're going to substitute that with serrano peppers. Serrano peppers, of course, are a lot easier to find here. They don't have the same amount of heat as a Scotch bonnet, but they still bring a nice, healthy kick. You don't want to burn anyone's mouth here. And then we're going to be using some curry. This is curry I bought at Walmart, but it's different from Jamaican curry. Jamaican curry, again, is a bit unique. It has some extra ingredients like allspice. So to make up for that, and we're only going to add half the curry for now to the dish, but to make up for the fact that it's missing that ingredient, we're going to add some allspice. Give it that distinct Jamaican flavor. So you're going to mix this up real well. You're going to add your chicken to it, and you're going to mix it in. You want to make sure that you coat all the pieces of the chicken with the marinade. All right. And after you're done with that, you're going to cover it, put it in the refrigerator for at least an hour, preferably overnight. The longer the better. That way it gives the flavor a chance to get in. So while that's occurring, we're going to go ahead to the next step, which is putting a little bit of oil in the pan. Not too much. Remember, we're trying to cut the fat and cut the salt here, right? So you know when your oil is ready, when it starts to get real runny, almost like water. And if it's burning, then it's too hot. So a medium-high heat should be good, but if it's too high, go ahead and turn it down. So when the oil is ready, you're going to get that curry. Remember I said we're only going to use half the curry at first, right? So we're going to use the other half, and we're actually going to burn it. And that's right, burn it. Now the reason that we burn the curry is for two reasons. One is, for some people, curry can be a little bit hard on the stomach. So when you burn it, it actually makes it much more easy to digest. And the other reason is, if you were here, you could smell that aroma. Burning it actually releases the flavor of the curry. So it's a good step. And you'll tell when it's done when it starts changing color, going from like a yellow to a brown. Then you know you're ready to get your chicken that has been marinating, right? At least 1 hour, preferably overnight. You're going to put that in here. Now your goal here is just to sear the chicken on all sides. You're not going to cook it all the way through. That comes a little bit later. You're just going to move it around the pan. That burnt curry that you have, and then once it's seared, then you're ready for your next step. All right. Okay, good deal. And the next thing we're going to do is add a little bit of chicken broth. Excuse me for a second. So for today, I'm actually going to use some low sodium chicken broth. Now you have many different types of chicken broth that you can get. You have everything from the fully loaded, which is very high in sodium, and all the way down to the sodium free and fat free. So depending on your healthcare concerns, just go with whatever works for you. I'm going middle of the road with this one. So we're just going to pour in some chicken broth. All right. Then we're going to cover, and we're going to let this dish simmer. So which means you turn down the heat just a little bit and you let it simmer for about 20 minutes. Now, this is a perfect time to do what I like to call clean as you go. You got about 20 minutes and nothing to do. Go ahead and clean up your mess, because you don't want anything to take away from the valuable time you have of eating that curry at the end. So go make sure you clean as you go. So after about 20 minutes, what we're going to do now is I'm going to add some vegetables. I've got some carrots and I've got some potatoes. These are root vegetables. You're going to put it in. You're going to stir it around. Root vegetables are great because they soak up the flavor of anything they're added to. And we're going to cover it again and let it simmer for another 20 minutes. You can stir occasionally, and that'll give enough time for the vegetables to cook. Now, if you're using canned vegetables or water-soluble vegetables, you want to wait until you only have about 10 minutes left in the cooking time to add those things, okay, because they don't take as long to cook. All right, so while that's working, the last thing that we're going to do in this process is we're going to thicken it. So I'm going to use cornstarch and water. Cornstarch in cold water, you stir it up, and you can follow the manufacturer's instructions on the cornstarch label. It's actually going to have the consistency of milk. What you're going to do is, after that 20 minutes is over and your dish is ready, you're going to slowly pour this in while you're stirring, and then it'll just thicken on the spot. And then you let it simmer for about 5 minutes, and then it'll be ready to go. Now, there are many different ways to thicken your meal. You can actually, and by the way, you leave it uncovered when you're doing this part of it. You can add some nutritional value to the dish. So you can use mashed potato flakes, you can use plain yogurt, even red lentils, which is a legume, works real well as a thickening agent, and of course adds that nutritional value. Simplest way would just be, instead of covering it for 40 minutes, leave the cover off, and then it'll thicken on its own. All right. Since that was the last step, I'm actually going to show you what the finished product will look like. All right, so what we have here is Jamaican style curry chicken. It has a stew kind consistency. It's very thick and hearty, and oh, the aroma. Oh, it's killing me. We're going to have people banging down the door to try and get in here. So there you have it, folks. Jamaican style curry. Again, this is a healthier version of the world famous dish. I like mine with rice, but you can serve it however you want. And that's the finished product right there. Voila. If you want, you can put a little extra sauce over that rice. That's going to be up to you. All right. This recipe will be posted with this video online. Feel free to try it and let us know what you think. By the way, did you know that this June is actually Men's Health Month? Guys, it's a time for us to remember to actually take care of ourselves. So what does that mean? That means doing our checkups, seeing our doctor or dentist, getting screened, especially if you meet that age requirement. Find a reason to do it. My reason is my family. What's yours? So again, thanks for spending this time with me. Until next time, remember, screening saves lives. Thank you.